Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing a little more work on the SCX30. Last time we put that brushless system in, and today we'll be installing the first few upgrades that INJORA came out with for the SCX30. We got the links, we got the drive shafts, and we got the knuckles. I know they've released a few more upgrades since then, but we'll start with these and let's get them unpacked. Okay, so I think we'll go with the knuckles as the first part we put on here. Shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. I know it's super small. Since we did that Red Cat INJORA build, I'm imagining it should be pretty similar to how to get these parts on here like that one. So as you can see, I haven't completely tidied up that brushless system yet. So just to kind of keep things out of the way, we'll just go ahead and unplug some of this just to get this out here. Okay, so that should make it a little less stuff flopping around while we're doing this build. And I never really feel good about pulling off these tires on the SCX30s. They're always super tight on here. Well, just kind of looking at it, since we're going to have to take most of this apart anyway, I think I'm going to just start by taking the shocks off, just to kind of free this up, and then we'll start taking the links and the knuckles off. Okay, so we have the links free, allow us to kind of drop this out, make it a little easier. So it looks like we might have to actually take the servo off, because you can't really get to that link. It's underneath the servo here. Well, let's start by getting the steering link off. Okay, so we did get our front steering link off. And then to be able to get to these links, well, and it looks like our drive shaft also slid off, which might be actually easy to get to. You know, I almost actually just want to take this assembly off here. So it looks like we need a small screwdriver. And should just pop out. All right. So that kind of freed our whole little servo front assembly. And then we have these two links also just kind of hanging here. And you can also see that nice FuryTech brushless motor in there too. Looks good. So I guess we'll put this off to the side here, and we'll kind of work on this first. So from here, we should just be able to work on the knuckles. After we get that done, well, we might as well just take the servo off while we're at it here. I will say, after working on that Red Cat, I definitely have a lot more confidence in doing this. Even though it may not be completely correct and right, I still feel more confident taking this apart anyway. I guess that's what's important. Just trying to learn the hobby and just have fun doing it. Mistakes along the way is just how we grow and how we learn. So from here, I think we should just be able to do a lot from this one piece. We'll be able to put on this part of the drive shaft, these links, and our knuckles. Okay, take off the other side. Pull out our new INJORA brass ones. Shaft just slides out. Now to get the bearing out. So to get that rear one out, I put it through the front because there's a tiny little space between the two bearings. And I pushed it through that tiny little space. So now this one should come out. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Go ahead and set these in the new. So I'm just going to use the SCX30 tool, this end, just push it in there. Seemed to work fine. And then the front one. Yeah, it's not exactly completely flush, but I really can't get it in any more than it is. So we'll just leave it at that. Guess we'll see if we have any issues mounting the wheel or not. But I don't think it should be a problem. All right, we'll do the same thing with the other side. Ooh, that popped in nice. All right, guys, and there we go. We got both our INJORA knuckles on there. So now on this piece here, we'll do the links and then we'll do the drive shaft. And INJORA does include these labeled, which is nice. So here's our front links. And I remember the fun of these O-rings when we were doing the Red Cat, and now they are even tinier. And before we put the links on, we might actually put that front drive shaft on, since this is all cleared out of here. Might be easier just to do that. Okay, so we got our drive shaft, so the longer one's for the rear, and we'll need to take this screw out. And this has an included screw. So we'll go ahead and loosen this. And we'll just try to do our best to line this up with the hole. Yeah, I think we got it first try there. So there we got our drive shaft first piece on. So doing that just should make it easier rather than putting those links on first and then putting the drive shaft on. So now we will put on our bottom or our front links here. So we'll pop one of these in. So now the joy of the tiny O-rings. Okay, we got our O-rings on. So not horrible. I dropped this little ball bearing a few times, but really get yourself a pair of nice tweezers. Makes it so much easier. All right, we got that one on. I kind of had to use my nail to pull part of it down since you have to slip it over the screw and then put it over this. It wasn't too bad though. All right, we got these done. Wasn't horrible. But instead of a screw now, we have to use INJORA's little tool that they included, since these are the star bit. Okay, there's our front assembly done. We got our two links. We got our first part of the drive shaft and our knuckles. All right, guys, so continuing kind of putting this front part back together, we're going to put our servo back up to our steering links here. Okay, here we go. Got our front section put back together. We got our knuckles on. We got our drive shaft and these front links. So now we'll see about this part. Got a small little opening where we can get at that screw. And we got our drive shaft out. And now, hopefully, we can get this one in as easy as the other one did. Whew. I know that was probably hard to see through all that. I'm sorry, I had to keep it on the table. So we were able to get that screw in. That wasn't actually too bad. Wasn't too bad. There we go. Okay, so now we'll take off these links. Yeah, I had this screw out and I tried to pop it out with my tweezers because, you know, it wouldn't fall out, it wouldn't come out. And now it went back in there and it's just spinning. I can't get it to come out. Well, let's work on the other one for now. We'll come back to that. Okay, we got that one out pretty easy. But this one is definitely another story here. All right, guys, we're back. It took a little bit to get that screw out of there. I ended up having to use my Hoto electric mini screwdriver with this tiny bit to be able to get that out. But we got it. Definitely took a little bit of time though. And now the fun part of doing more of these O-rings. So I was thinking it might be easier to put these O-rings on before it goes into the link. Okay, so when I first slip this on, you can see it's like right behind the ball where the shock goes, but I think I need to pull it onto this part right here. So I may just finger roll that down if I can. I might have to grab it, I guess, the tweezers. So that was a little bit of a challenge to get that over the little ball and then into the actual collar where it's supposed to sit. Okay, we did it. So now we'll pull a shock off. There we go. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the other one. And we're back. We have both those links with the shocks done. lot of extra parts. I mean, that is one nice thing about INJORA is they always give you extra stuff. Did have a few O-rings fall. Luckily, I was able to find them, but they give you a ton of stuff. So I guess now we can get our links on. Okay, so we got our links on. All right, so now I guess we will try to get this bolted up. Which I don't think will be too bad. I'll just thread this cable through here. Make sure we get our drive shafts connected. So now I'll just try to hold this all together. Get this bolted up. Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. We got one stuck in there. This one's hanging out. It's just so hard with how tiny it is too. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it might be easier just to bolt this on, just to kind of keep it more manageable. Dude, I can't tell you how annoying it is trying to line up this drive shaft and have it keep falling out. So this is where we're at. I've bolted up the parts of the links that attach to the shocks just to keep that drive shaft together. Okay, we got that one, which I still need to figure out how to get this screw out of here. Oh, it's starting to come out a little bit, it looks like. All right, we got it out. Thank God. Thank the Lord we got that side in. Whew. Not quite home free. No! The drive shaft fell out. Ugh. Okay, we got it back in. We did it. We got it in. We actually did it. Now I need to get these shocks connected before it falls one more time. Well, we did it. We got the front part done. We got our links, we got our drive shafts, we got our knuckles, we got it all bolted back up here. I'll tell you, that was quite the job, just with how tiny it is. And then the drive shaft kept falling out. But other than that, everything went together pretty easy. So now we'll start working on the rear section. All right, guys, we're back. So I went ahead and did the links for the rear and then took the tires off. So we'll start taking off the shocks and start taking it apart here. Okay, got the rear axle out. Okay, so we'll just start popping these in. Yeah, these screws here that are on the skid plate have been really annoying to deal with. Really hard to get out. Okay, guys, well, I'm gonna try to get these out, and then I'll probably just bolt up the links here, and I'll get back with you, since it's pretty much gonna be the same as the front. Well, guys, we finally got that screw out of here. What a bitch that was. This one came out, you know, decently fine, but this one just would not come out. Thank God. All right, well, I'm going to finish putting these links on and get this rear axle bolted up, and I'll be back with you. All right, guys, and there we go. There we have it. We got the links bolted up. We got the drive shaft on. Not too much different from the front. It was actually way easier doing the back. I didn't have to fight with this longer drive shaft at all. I mean, once we got that screw out of here, I mean, that was a nightmare. But once we got that screw out of there, the whole rear section went together super easy. So let's get the rest of it bolted back up. Okay, and you guys know my mess of wires. I really need to fix this, but we'll turn it on and we'll check it out. Well, we got some life. That brushless control is still just so good. All right, guys, she works. And we'll fix this at some point. I know I keep putting it off. And now we'll wait until the next round of INJORA upgrade parts get here. But until then, guys, I really appreciate you sticking with me through this one. This was pretty rough, pretty annoying just with how small it was, and that issue with the screw under here. But overall, it wasn't too bad. This has been cool to take this from completely stock to kind of where we have it now. And there's still quite a bit more we can do to it. So really looking forward to seeing where this thing goes and just exploring the hobby like we have been. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.